Hey everyone, it's Mr. McKeever here. We're going to do another lesson about Excel, and we're actually wrapping up. This is one of our last couple lessons on Excel for the year. But we're going to play around with charts today. So, go up here, open up eTry21 from the beautiful Moodle page, and we're going to go ahead and save it as whatever your name is. eTry21. Save that beautiful file, and once you got that wonderfully set up, let's play around with this. Alright, so we have some information here that looks really simple, right? Well, what if we want to make a graph out of it? Making graphs is actually really simple. As you can see, there's a ton of different information on here. What's important for you guys to remember is what some of the chart information is. So like right here, you have the chart title. You have the vertical axis, horizontal axis, the legend. Now the things you guys will have to remember when it comes down to is the chart title and the legend. Now you can change these things really simply. I can go on here and be like, oh, well, what if I want to make the color of this different? And I could manipulate it. All I have to do is double click it, close it, and hey look, there's now a line around my title. Legend, right click it. If I don't like it, I can delete it. Makes my chart bigger. If I don't like this, I can rename it to Happy Days Company. And delete off everything else there. It makes things really easy to manipulate, play around with, do whatever you need to do. Now the truly important stuff though is how do you actually create the chart? So that's what we're going to do next. So down here you'll see that we have one that's called example and one that's called practice. These two sheets, the example one is so you can see what the chart looks like. Practice is actually where the fun begins. So go ahead and click over to the practice and we're going to go ahead and make our own chart. How you do it is really simple. We have our data. We don't need this dowel builder thing. We don't need this quarter tomb home construction. What we need to do is just select A5 down to D8. You're going to go up here and hit insert. And we're going to insert, and this time we're going to do a bar graph. So click that guy, but let's make it 3D, because 3D bar graphs are really cool. If you notice, you do have a different couple types of 3D bar graphs that exist here. We're going to go ahead and choose the clustered one. And when we do, what we see is all of our data broken down to each chunk. All the completed construction, started, and planned, all in one area together. Bless you, sorry about that. And it has all of our information broken down to each one of our different construction companies, which is awesome. It has our information. Now, the one thing it doesn't have, though, is a title. So we need to insert a title. So we have up here, we can choose insert data, move chart. Well, we don't want to necessarily move it, but we could. If you choose to move the chart, you can move it to any page that you want to. So we could move it to sheet 2. And magically it ends up there. Well, what if we wanted to move it again? We could move it right back. Let's move chart again. We are in sheet 2. Let's go to practice. And boom, we're back to where we started. Alright, so we want to insert our chart title. So go over here. You should be able to see in the chart tools layout section, chart title. We're going to do a centered display on it. And we're going to call this our home construction. But you might want to resize your chart just a little bit so that home construction doesn't look blocked. Then we can just move this up a little bit better. Move it around, play around with whatever you need to. Life is really simple. Once you have the chart, like I said, you can move it, you can rearrange it, you could rotate it if you wanted to. Rotation takes a lot of interesting work to it. We're not going to play around with it in this class, but you could make it diagonally set up if you wanted to. It's really neat. You could also change the font on here too. All this is done by just right-clicking on the actual chart itself. You'll get this list. Say if we wanted to change all the body text into, I don't know what that is, but let's look at it. Oh, look at that. It's so cool looking. Fantastic. Alright, so this is how you just create a chart. It's very simple. Bar charts are really easy to use and manipulate. There's a ton of different charts out there. If we wanted to, we could insert anything from a line chart, pie charts, area charts, other ones, which we have donut charts. Those are really interesting. Bubble charts, which I truly do not understand why anyone would ever use a bubble chart. That's really confusing looking chart. But we're going to keep this and we're good to go. Alright, so go ahead and save this guy, close out of it. For this lesson, all you have to do is Project 46. It's pretty straightforward, shouldn't take you that much time. But that's not the only lesson we're going to learn today. So go ahead and close out of this guy. Go back to the Moodle page, make sure you save it. And this is the music you hear in the background. Beautiful light music, inspirational playlist. Oh, isn't that just so lovely? We're going to go now to eTry22. Open that guy up. And we have all these candy sales that exist. That's awesome. These are fun. Woohoo! Again, nobody ever eats toffee bars. I truly do not understand this preoccupation with toffee that this book has, but, you know, whatever floats their boats. Alright, so once you're in eTry22, let's go ahead and save it as though you would save everything else. Last name first, but I'm going to change my last name to Rasputin. And eTry22. So what we have here is a bunch of candy with Tamika, Caitlin, Jolie, Tom, Anna, and John. Well, we have a ton of information here that we can manipulate a lot, but all we want to create is a pie chart. And pie charts are all based around percentages. So we need to figure out first what our percentages are. So in order to do that, you have to take the amount each kid has over the weekly total. So create an equation, equal sign 170 divided by 956. If you hit enter there, that'd be fantastic. Now we want to make sure that this stays the same for everyone. So when you're doing your equation here, you want to be able to go back and create that absolute reference just like you've done before. So now we can go ahead and drag this down. And we have some beautiful percentages. And this is the percentage of all the sales that each kid did. Now from here we can create ourselves a really neat pie chart. So you can actually go over here and select everyone. If you hit Control and hold down Control, you can go over here and select all of these also. Notice how these are not connected. There's no, access information or anything. We can go over to Insert. We can create a pie chart. 3D pie charts are by far better. So let's go ahead and create a 3D pie chart. And we have this beautiful pie chart that we have here of everyone's work. But we don't want to just keep it right here. That's kind of boring. So we're going to go ahead and move the pie chart. You right click on the pie chart. And we're going to move it to a new sheet. We're going to move it to sheet 2. Hit OK. Then on sheet 2 we're going to rename this. We're going to name it our chart sheet. So everyone knows exactly what's on this one. If we want to make our chart bigger, see how you can manipulate the size a little bit and you can actually pull out a piece. Look at that, everyone's so pulled out. You can see exactly the pieces there, or I can go back to my regular chart. So let's move this over here. Let's make it a little bit bigger. And from here, the last things we want to be able to do is you want to be able to maybe pull out a single piece as a person who did better. But we don't know who did better yet. So go up here to your chart tools and we can actually have data labels inserted in. So let's have data labels in the middle. So for the one we had selected here, they're going to put the actual data that goes there. Should work for everyone that you want to select. So select each chunk, insert a label in there, and you're going to find out exactly what percentage everyone has. From there we can see that Jolie is our best salesperson. We can pull her out, we can highlight her, and in fact we can actually add new labels. We can make it something neat and these little piece of text to say that she's better than everyone else, because clearly she is better than everyone else. So let's go ahead and insert a little text box here. And we can go insert it and call her the winner. To make it so we can actually read our text box. And there you go. Now the only thing we're missing left in our beautiful chart is we need a title to it. So let's go over here and add a chart title back in our chart tools. We'll do a center overlay again and say Jolie is the greatest ever. Look at that. That is a beautiful chart right there, folks. So now we've gone through in our 2 lessons, created just basic charts. We've created pie charts. To recap this one really quickly, notice again how we created the percentages that we needed. We created an equation, the amount that we wanted to divide, and then we made sure that we had our absolute reference to make sure we had the right number to divide by. Dragged it all down. Made a mistake in our equation there. Have Excel help popping up all over the place for all the good fun that that's worth. Yeah, let's go ahead and delete that out of there and fix our equation. And then we were able to create something out of this. Now I encourage you to remember how to do this using the Control button to select 2 different chunks of information. Because when we do our final Excel assessment, you will have to be able to do that to create a pie chart. It's a really, really important tool. Alright, from there, folks, go ahead and save it. And the last thing you have to do for this lesson is Project 48. So now you have 2 chunks to do, Project 46 and 48. But once you're done with that, you're good to go. And I will see you guys on Tuesday, I believe. Monday or Tuesday. Have a great weekend.